gold is $11 trillion market. They can manipulate that very easily.
The reason why they're able to manipulate that is purely because of the fact that they control supply, and it's hardware. Let's say they can't do that with crypto. Make sense?
At least crypto's very transparent. You can see the if there's whales trading and stuff like that.
The opposite, or it's completely privacy based. That's why one of my coins is Monero, right? It's all about complete, like, no transparency at all. It's completely private in every way, cannot be traced, as we know. Of course, nothing's immutable, but it's the best thing out there.
So when more people start investing, right, and it becomes part of everyday life, when will people start? When will the government and other people start regulating? How far can they go with the regulations to stop it completely? Like, can they stop crypto completely?
I wish that, you know, that people realize this already and start investing now. But you know what? Let me tell you something. I recently seen a survey of the UK population that are investing in crypto. It's 55%, right? That is very high. That's it. That surprised me for sure. That 55% of the UK population
I thought it
are
was
now
only 2.5 million people. 2.3 million people when UK was invested.
If you
It
have
came
a
out
look at
recently.
the latest figures, it's 55% that
I
are
can't
investing
imagine.
in some. In terms
That's
of how much, I don't know, right? In terms of population count, 55%.
that's like 30 million, 35 million people.
Yeah.
I don't think it was that high. Let me find out.
I'll give you the source, but it's really impressive. Even if it's like £50, by the way, I'm saying the count. I'm not saying the value of what they've invested in.
Okay. All right. Well, so I'm seeing an article from 17th of June on Sky News, and it says the estimated 2.3 million UK adults now hold crypto assets.
Yeah, 2.3 million. That's the one.
So if it was 35 million, I think my I think my portfolio would look a lot higher than a couple of grand I have now.
Not necessarily. It depends on how much people invest in, right? If it's only 50 quid they're investing in, it's not that much.
Yeah, but 50. Yeah, I get you.
It just shows that how far crypto can go. 2.3 million is not that much. What's the population of UK? 60 million, 68, 70 million?
66. Yeah.
That's not much at all, eh?
No, it's not.
So it's got a long way to grow. I wonder how many people invest in stocks. Probably about 30%, right?
I see a lot of businesses now starting to accept crypto, and I think eventually, the more companies that accept crypto, the more people will buy into it. But again, I feel like it's you have to be a certain kind of person to invest, and you have to have a certain amount of money and have a way of looking on money. Like some people, I think they see it as a get rich quick scheme. Want to invest, they'll invest. They're thinking they're gonna have a quick turnover when it's not like that. So, and again, not many people I know have the money to invest in crypto, and they see it as too volatile. So, how do you think that the volatility thing is gonna?
Right. Let me answer this. Right. Let's go back to the statistics again. So, look, if you look at consumer research in terms of percentage of UK adults, in terms of do they know or heard of cryptocurrencies, right? It's over 75% now, right?
For sure.
Lots of that, right?
I'd say near 100% now.
It's just above 75%, 2021, right? If you look at 2020, it was just under 75%. If you look at 2019, it was below 50%. So the rate of increase of not only education, understanding, but also in terms of the numbers that are investing in, which you're right, 2.3 million UK adults own crypto assets, right? Up to 1.9 million in 2020, right? So, and as I said, in terms of the numbers as well, it's much higher. I see that the challenge we're having at the moment is we're in an information war, right? I'm hoping that very soon the public will start to understand how spin doctored the mainstream corporate media is, and how if they start to do their own research, they will start investing for themselves, and do like they should do anyway, their due diligence, and start investing in the coins. And as soon as they invest in, the more early they would be to adopt the systems, and the harder it will be for those, major players that are monopolizing the other industries, for them to start getting in, right? But the way things are going at the moment is the spin seems to be scaring people not to invest, and instead giving an opportunity for the usual players to go and invest. And that's the challenge we have.
England Czech Republic game.
Forget football, man. I'm tired of football. Tired of small balls, right?
Bro, imagine Liverpool sign Lukaku in Bitcoin.
Wait, never mind that. Why don't you get some COP coins as well, or AC Milan coins, or United
Nah,
coins?
I saw MILF token, a thing called MILF token.
What about Cum Rocket?
Yeah, I was gonna say that one. That's yeah.
Is that our shitcoin for the week? Did you say?
I don't know much. I kind of gone away from the shit coins, because because they're like pump and dump kind of things, isn't it? Like they have their moment and then it just die down. So I try and look at. Don't get me wrong.
I hope you pulled out of Dogecoin in time, yeah.
Nah. I'm holding that one, innit? I'm holding. I tell
What's
you
your
what.
experience? What's your experience with investing in shitcoins?
Okay, so firstly, never buy when it's in green, because what I've noticed about Doge and Shibu, I bought Shibu as soon as it came onto Binance, and obviously because I was unaware of everything, I saw a few YouTube videos, I saw things, Shiba Inu, the Dogecoin, and I'm a big believer in the community, so I do think they will succeed. Maybe not to the levels that certain people think, or when I first came in, what they might do, but I do think so. So with Shiba Inu and Doge, I bought in too high. With Doge, I was too late, and I bought in too high. And then Shiba Inu, I bought as soon as it went on Binance, when I bought it at its highest, quite its highest, right? But what I realized is that when Shiba went to 0.00004, right? I invested in it, and then it got to like 0.7. So I kind of like nearly doubled my money over a short space of time. Versus the other coins, you might go up a penny, you might go up 2 pennies, you might go up 3 pennies. And depending on the number of coins you have, you don't really make that much. Versus Shiba, where I could like literally double my money in the space of an hour kind of thing, or a couple of hours. So
you can also half your money in a couple of hours as well.
Yeah. You can do, but what I'm saying is, if you buy, I'm kind of confident if I bought Shiba Inu at 0.000004, it's not going to go below that. If it goes any lower, it might as well wipe it out. So I kind of looked at this kind of chart thing, looked at it, and I kind of thought, cool. They got this thing called Shiba Swap coming out soon as well. So like a thing. So I will see how it goes. I think the only one. I think Doge is kind of dead now. I don't see that as thing. I think there's only once.
Have you looked into Revu yet, or Revu coin?
Yeah, you sent me that, but I think because I'm only on Binance, I only can buy what's on Binance. So I kind of need to.
Well, it's not on the exchange yet, but you can obviously, invest directly into it because it's what you call a pre-launch stage.
Okay.
If you really want to go for the punt, as they say, you might as well do those things as opposed to waiting until they get onto the exchange, right?
Yeah.
If you want to go from 0 to the moon in like a couple of days, that's really where you go, right? But it's still a punt. Let me add that. It's still a punt. Don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, no doubt. And again,
my brother it still dabs in all of this. You know that, right? And he must have invested in at least 50 of these guys. And in some of them, he literally admits it's like a pyramid scheme. He knows it, right?
Yeah,
He's doing it to exactly as you said, get rich quick.
yeah,
He's prepared to lose that 50 quid, but the chances of getting 40 grand, right? Could be 1 in 100, right?
yeah. No,
So look,
I totally agree.
strategy.
Oh, don't get me wrong, like the Shibu one and the Doge one, I'm more at the beginning I thought Doge was gonna be cool, but I can't once I know they say you should cut your losses and all that kind of thing and all that, but I feel it'll go up again. So I kind of cost average now. So when it gets to a certain point and I feel like I'm comfortable, I'm just gonna bin it and I'm gonna set it.
What I would say to you about this stuff, it will definitely go up if the coin or the whatever you're investing in has what I would call future-proof fundamentals, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I would agree with, right? And then if, let's say, you missed the trade or whatever and you should have sold, just keep and hold it. I would agree with you there. But if the actual coin is not credible in terms of its fundamentals, like it doesn't hold any, application that's the best in the market, or it doesn't hold anything that is unique or a service or whatever it is, right? If it's not, if there's nothing there, substance, it's just, in this case, we now call them meme coins. That's a problem. That's where I would say, to people, be absolutely careful with that. Fine, if you capture it at the pump, or before the pump, great. But if you've missed it, don't bother. Right? Just don't even bother.
Yeah.
Right? Another one the other day, right? My brother was very fortunate with this one, with the Hex coin. That basically has gone to the moon, right? So he's made a lot of money from that. But this is where it goes wrong. Unfortunately, usually with those people with that mentality, they still think it's going to continue. When clearly, if you look at the fundamentals, you look at what kind of market capitalization that's required for it to continue. This is where you start to think this is not realistic. And they make the unfortunate mistake of continuing instead of pulling out, taking the money, putting it into something else. Right? It's the pump and dump. Right?
No,
So
I
even
agree.
if they get it right, right, because of the kind of mentalities of get rich quick schemes, they fail to look at the normal stuff, I would say, what every trader should be doing. And sadly, it doesn't end well either, even if they get some sort of success, right? So look, even more important, why we have a platform like Coin Analytics will stabilize or give some kind of foundation for people, whatever your background or whatever your normal mode of thinking is and how you trade coins and how you don't, because it grounds people. It puts them in a place where it looks at all eventualities, right? At one hand, you have your very experienced trader that does this in day out, their fundamentals, their technical analysis, but they usually struggle with time, right? Or you have someone that doesn't do any of this at all, and they usually go at what they call based on the hype. Whether that trader or type of trade and how it works is, this is where that platform should put them in a position where they can actually get some credible guidance and sort of say, am I just taking the piss now or being too greedy?
Yeah, I think you did make a good point about the meme coins and what they have to offer, because even when I look at obviously I'm a big believer in social media following and that. I think it does play a part. And the Shiba one, the guy seems like he's trying to take it somewhere. He's trying to put something in place. He's trying to do something. Where the Dogecoin one seems like he doesn't care. It's a bit like, so what? If you don't like it, so what? I care about the community. But it doesn't seem like there's any fundamentals behind it to really keep it there long term. It seems like it's a bit of a fad and it would quickly die down.
What is it about Shibu that would you say has got some long-term grounding?
Well, I think, again, I don't know if it has long-term ground. I don't know if it has long-term thing, but they obviously I read that.
That's for me. If that's it, if you don't see that, you know, I would say straight away, you cannot expect it to eventually get back to the price you want it at, because it has nothing to leverage against.
Well, with the what's it called, the Doge one, I definitely feel like when it gets to a point, I will sell it. I'll thing it. I'm not like, I don't. At the beginning, I saw that as long term, but now I just, the information, the kind of creator gives about it and the way he's approached it, it doesn't make me believe.
Don't be like worried that it's a case that, oh, I didn't quite know that information at the time. This is applies to everything all the time. I'll give you an example. I bet you not many people know of the hard fork that's going on with Ethereum. Everyone, funny enough, knows about the burning, right? That hasn't happened yet, my ad, and we still don't have a date with that. But what people haven't heard about is the hard fork that's going to happen on the 24th of June. And I've got serious concerns that...
24th of June or 24th of July? Because 24th of June, oh, what's the 24th of June?
2
days.
July.
Okay.
July or June?
I think it's June. I'll double check that. But
maybe you're right.
It's coming imminently, and I'm concerned that it's the same thing that happened to Bitcoin a couple of years ago with the hard fork, which impacted the price massively, is now going to happen with Ethereum. And funny enough, no one knows about this. I looked around, it just doesn't seem like anyone is understanding that, right? That could be a significant change. But everyone, funny enough, knows about its burn rate, right? Oh, it's going to burn, therefore it's going to go to the moon and all this, right? That's very well advertised. But funny enough, the hard fork isn't. And that's another example of, I agree with you, there is a certain level of manipulation going on where people, of course, that are in the know are going to use that knowledge to exploit others. That definitely goes on, and it will continue to go on. But that's why I say to people, always do your due diligence and don't stop. Keep looking at it. That's why I've effectively in my portfolio cut Ethereum and put it to other stuff, because it's not worth the risk. It's not worth the risk.
Ethereum is, but I don't know much about Ethereum, right? But what do you think the long term, do you think it has a place long term, or do you think it's just not evolved as people would think it has or expected it to?
I'm concerned it's already past its date, right? And that's why they're advertising the fact that there's an upgrade and all of this, right? Because there are other coins that are already superior to it technologically, right? It was better than Bitcoin, yes, but it's not better than the others, and it hasn't, as you said, evolved as fast enough in proportionate with Bitcoin. Therefore, I think it's in trouble, and they know they're in trouble, which is why they're advertising so much about their burn, because they want to try and, I think, get people on board as soon as possible. But again, there's already problems with the gas price, right? And that's causing more issues of people getting on board with it because it's too costly. I don't know if you're familiar with what I'm talking about with the gas, but this is basically if, let's say, another business goes on board and uses the platform, for every transaction, there's a gas cost, which is part of Ethereum. But because of the proportionality of the cost of Ethereum, the gas price is very heavy as well, right? So every transaction, people are paying an extortionate amount of fees, so it becomes useless again, right? You might as well go to your Western Union and pay your usual bullshit fee. I mean, I'm being a little bit harsh there because, yes, Ethereum has got a lot of fantastic practical application, don't get me wrong, but in the crypto world, in terms of its costings, it's very poor, reaching the end of its tether, actually, because not only is it lost its future proof, where there's better technologies out there, but also the fact that very strong at advertising the burn of it, but yeah, they're not advertising the other truths of the hard fork, which concerns me. Not to mention, there is also other affiliates. If you look, there's going to be multiple hard forks, by the way. My ads as well, by the way. Not just one of them. There's going to be multiple. There's going to be another one called Pulsechain. Have a look at that, what's going. Very interesting, very fascinating. It's effectively going to upgrade Ethereum. Okay, so Why does no one know about this? And that's what worries me.
Because when I've been doing my own research and looking at things, I kind of thought the other day, 'cause that's why I asked about Ethereum. It kind of just seems like it served its purpose, and it doesn't. I kind of like regret investing in it. Maybe I might, not in the future, but I kind of regret investing in it because I don't see everybody that speaks about it talks about how it hasn't. The projects it had was delayed. The gas thing you spoke about, and a few other things. It's just like, boy,
Yeah.
is this even? Why is it so much money, kind of thing? And why is like some of the other projects that you spoke about not as much? But yes,
It's definitely technologically superior to Bitcoin, no doubt. It was obviously one of the early coins, right, along with Litecoin. But I think at the end of the day, it reached its peak with technology, and there are far other better altcoins out there. It's very difficult now to justify it.
it peaked to what, like nearly £3,000, I think.
Yeah,
But
something
now
like
it's that.
dollars.
No,
No, more.
Pounds. Yeah, sorry, it was four
pounds. Yeah,
$4,000. Yeah, sorry.
The highest it got, I think, was 2,992. And then it's nuts, right? Because when I started investing, I bought Ethereum was at like its all-time high. So obviously now,
Oh dear.
and again, I tried to average cost it, but now I'm thinking like, ooh, this is kind of just let me hold it
Yeah, that's
for a bit
ouch.
longer, and then see how it goes. But I think the first time I get to see Ethereum, and I kind of feel comfortable selling it. Like at the moment where it's at, it makes sense to hold it. But
Yes,
once I
yes.
get to
I think for something like Ethereum, definitely hold it for now. There's still some good fundamentals there. I just have obviously my warnings, right? That's just cropped up that potentially could have an effect on it. But what I would say is, look, there's so many others that have got really robust standings, and it doesn't even matter if it loses 30%, right? We know it's going to come back at some point, right? And actually, I've been looking in general. Today, all I've been doing is analysis, just general, the whole market. And I think now what we're seeing right now in the crypto market is exactly an imitation of 2018 with the sort of the pump, so to speak. And now obviously we're enjoying its dip. But it's like a mirror image. If you have a look at it, I think the crypto cycle now has come twice. So it's, I think, going to be fantastic for the technical analysts to look at that and say, right, now we really know what's going to go ahead in the future because they've got something to map against. But, I literally implore people to just look at the cycles of them and how actually similar they are. It's obviously interesting again, which is why I always focus back on, has it got more relevance? Fiat money supply has more of an impact than people want to believe. The answer is sadly yes. At least a good 30 to 40% of the price is impacted because of the fiat money supply. But all you need to do is do the correlation maps on it, and you'll see how significant it is. It hasn't disappointed me as of yet. I'm not saying it, things may not change in the future, and in fact, I hope it will change in the future. Going back to my original argument, the more people get on board, the more robust it will be, and you wouldn't have these problems of manipulation, right? But for the time being, because it's still a tiny market compared to anything else out there, unfortunately, the volatility is definitely consistent with how the quantitative easing is going on. I urge people to look at that.
Well, like I said, for me, like I said, I'm still new to the game and I still don't know enough to really like talk too much about crypto. But the only project I kind of see that I really believe in is Cardano. Other than that, I don't know. It just seems all a bit.
Cardano is magnificent. It's very,
Yeah.
very good. I'll definitely recommend that to people. There are also more countries getting involved in Africa, by the way. I mean, it's pretty much the whole of Africa will soon be Cardano based and will be their official currency at the way things are going. South America as well. Look, it's all coming into play now. I think the main forces at work are definitely crying. Put it that way, they are crying. They see what's happening. So they can't really stop it unless they expose themselves even more than they already have. But what happened with the GameStop, right? I mean, that
Yeah.
was a massive exposure to how as you said, the manipulation goes on, right? And there is a problem with that. But the fact that El Salvador announced that they would buy into Bitcoin, what did the IMF do? The next day, they gave them a bit of a threat, a meeting, blah, blah, blah. Look, to me, that's exposed them already. Like, why does something like the IMF get involved at all? What right do they have?
Mhm.
And that should say something to people to say, look, why would a country decide? I mean, they're not stupid. They've got their geniuses at work, right? Why would they decide to go move into another currency unless they haven't done all their homework? And then
Yeah.
why would another force come and try and convince them? I mean, it's quite, revealing.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you.
Even the governments of small countries are now getting on board. I mean, that tells you a lot. It's right there. And whatever it is, I don't actually mind what coin it is, because at the end of the day, eventually this market will go through a transfer phase. Bitcoin, everyone knows about it, right? But eventually, when people start understanding stuff a bit more, like with everything, they move on to version 2.0, 3.0, whatever that is. That could be Cardano. I think it is, personally speaking. But everyone obviously has their own opinion about what their needs are, etc. So how's the football going, Mr.
Yeah, but-
Scarecrow?
Scotland are losing 2-1, so they're going to be knocked out. England are winning 1-0.
I've been doing this for
3-1.
maybe too long.
Scotland are out.
It's the rubbish anyway.
Yeah, I know, but it is. I don't know. After the England performance, I wanted them to maybe get something out of the game. But
It's all fake anyway. I don't know why it's just because it's like watching WWE now with little balls now.